How's it going, all? Welcome back to the channel. How's it going, Mr. Hoff?
Oh, it's going.
It's going good. Yeah. Hey, so today we're gonna do something a little different. Uh, I'm sick, and I don't want to get Kevin sick, so he's at his house, and we're gonna do a sort of remote video talking about PCM or PC emulator. And in this video, we're going to get PCM set up, and we're going to actually attempt to do some multiplayer gaming over using PCM. We're not really sure if it's possible yet, but follow along on our little journey here and let's see if we can get her done. Okay, so for PCM, just go to the PCM website, download the latest version for Windows, and it doesn't necessarily install, it just kind of extracts to a folder, and then you'll run PCM from inside that. Um, and then there's going to be a bunch of files that you're going to need, some drivers and whatnot. And I'll put all of that in the description, but I'll just quickly go over it. So you'll need PCM itself. You'll need the ROM files required to get PCM going. Uh, you'll need a Windows 98 second edition CD-ROM because this is the OS we're going to install. So get the OEM full. And you'll need some chipset drivers. Uh, I'll let you know which specific driver we're going to use, but it's this one here, 3.201008. You'll need some 3DFX graphics drivers because we're going to emulate a Voodoo card. And then you'll need some Sound Blaster drivers, and it's the Sound Blaster PCI 128. So you need this driver. And you'll need some DirectX. We'll just use DirectX 7. Okay, so once you have your PCM downloaded, whoops, I want to go Windows D. There we go. So you'll have a folder that's the version that we're running, and inside of that folder, and what's happened to my, there we go. Inside of that folder is your executable. If you try to run it before you uh, import these ROM files, you'll get an error that states there's no valid ROMs. So what you need to do is you'll notice that there's a ROMs file folder right here. Uh, with your downloaded ROMs, just go ahead and select all of these, copy them, and then come back and just paste them in. And you can just, it should actually ask you if you're going to overwrite, just replace all of those. Okay, and now you have all the ROMs that you need to emulate the systems that they support. Okay, so uh, and then what I recommend doing, I have a folder, I just called it PCM. You can call it whatever you want. This folder contains basically um, from the chipset drivers over. So we're going to import this folder into our virtual machine afterwards, and I'll show you that as we go along. Okay, so once you have your PCM extracted and you've got your ROM files overwritten inside the ROMs folder, and you've got your folder that you're going to import into your machine. Uh, so in your folder that you're going to import, you've got chipset drivers and you've got all the stuff that you need. Mine has a couple of games, so just ignore that. This is also how you'll bring files into your machine really easily, and I'll show you that as we get there. Okay, so basically, fire up PCM. I've already got a couple of machines, but I'm just going to start a new one. So you'll click New, and I'll just give mine a new name, Windows 98, I don't know, -2 as an example. And you're going to get a configuration screen that comes up with a bunch of options, okay? I'll show you what to click here so to utilize the drivers that we have. So we're going to go all the way to the bottom and we're going to choose this gigabyte board. and we're going to do a Pentium 2 300. Now, depending on your machine, um, you may be able to get away with something higher than this. I've got a Ryzen 7 3800X, and it struggles to do more than this. 256 megs of RAM is all we need. So let's just put this down to 256. And for video, we're going to choose a Voodoo 3 2000. And we're going to choose the fast Visa Local Bus PCI option. And audio, we're going to choose a Sound Blaster PCI 128. So for our disks, we're going to choose IDE as standard. And we'll have one floppy drive. We don't need a second floppy drive. CD-ROM, we can leave it alone. And then we have to create a hard drive. So we'll click on new hard drive. And Mr. Hoff, are you following along okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to click new hard drive. And we're going to choose a VHD dynamic. You could choose a fixed VHD if you want, but it'll just take a while to fill up the drive. So dynamic's fine. The reason why we're going to choose VHD is because you can mount these natively in Windows, and then from there you could drag in your folder and you could put whatever you want in there. And here we'll just call it Windows 98 SE HDD as an example. Call it whatever you want. And right now we're going to have to change the cylinders to give us the size that we want. As far as I understand, you can't go more than 16 heads. So here, if we put, I don't know, 1800, we can see that we have a 885 megabyte. So let's do 3600. There's a 1.7 gig. So we can do there. That'll give us a little over 8 gigs, which is totally fine. So Kevin, are you at this point?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, all right. Just so you haven't figured it out, Kevin's following along on his machine. And so here we'll get a 8.3 gig drive. That's fine. And just click OK. And the drive's been created.
Can you go
Oh,
back to the video section and do that again? Because you went over it quite fast.
yeah, sorry about that. So choose a 3DFX Voodoo 3 2000. So
Got it.
that's
And the
okay.
speed was which?
And then this, you're going to do a fast Visa Local Bus / PCI.
Okay.
Okay. And then on the mouse, just choose a Microsoft 2-button mouse, serial. That's fine. And controllers, just leave it. And then network, I just chose the Realtek. Seems to work out of the box in Windows 98.
And what was the sound one that we were using again?
Oh, Sound Blaster PCI 128. Should be at the bottom.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. And then, yeah, we'll just click OK. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to power on the machine, but it won't actually have a disk to boot from. So we'll fix that. So just click load. And then what you're going to do is go to CD-ROM and you're going to click load image. And then you can point to your ISO that has your, oops, that was the wrong one. Your second edition ISO and just click open. Once you do that, click back in the window so that it has focus, and then just start mashing your delete key to get into the BIOS.
Hit delete.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so we can just go check a couple of things. So this is fine. we want to change this boot sequence. So you use the plus or minus keys, and just make sure you go CD-ROM CA is, as an example, is totally fine. And chipset features. No, we don't need nothing there. So integrated peripherals, I believe, is where we want to go. We do not need the serial port, so let's just get rid of that. And we do not need the second serial port. And we do not need a parallel port. Yeah. So yeah, we'll just make sure that things that we don't want are disabled and things that we do need are actually enabled. So yeah, we don't need any of the parallel or serial ports. And then another thing you could do is you could load performance defaults. I think we're fine to not do that. The biggest trick here is get your boot order. So CD-ROM CA is fine, and we'll just save and exit setup. Okay, another thing that you need to know, it says at the top of the screen, Control End will get your cursor back. So we can just come back here, click Save and Exit, and let the computer reboot. Okay, and we're going to boot from the CD-ROM. And we're going to start the Windows 98 setup from CD-ROM. Okay, so we can just press Enter to continue. Windows should tell us it found a disk. Yep, and we're going to configure the unallocated disk space. So just hit Enter. And yes, we do want to enable large disk support. Kevin, you following along?
Yes, sir.
That's good. So we'll hit Enter on Enable Large Disk Support. It's going to reboot. Ignore where it says, please make sure the 98 boot disk is in drive A. You don't need that. It'll just boot from the CD-ROM again. So hit Enter, or the machine will reboot. And we're going to boot from CD-ROM again. And we're going to start the Win98 setup again. And now it's going to format our drive. All right, so after formatting, just hit Enter. It'll drop into the Windows installer. All right.
A few moments later.
Okay, so hit Control N to release your cursor, and I'll show you uh, something to just make the screen a bit bigger and look nice.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to go to Video, and you're going to go to, where was it here? One sec. Oh, you're going to go to Output Stretch Mode, and you're going to choose Integer Scale. So under the video menu of PCM, click Integer Scale. And I think, yeah, that's fine. That was the only thing we need to do. Scale filtering linear is what we want. Okay, and then when you go toggle full screen, Just remember, Control-Alt page down gets you out of full screen. You'll have a full screen view that's not stretched and looks all funny or whatever, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Control-Alt page down will get us back out. Okay, so at this point, let's bring our drivers over. So shut your machine down. Shut down. Okay, and you can leave the PCM window actually open. And then what you want to do is navigate to your virtual drive location. So for me, it was inside the PCM directory, and there's our hard disk. So provided that your OS is stock, you should be able to just right click and go mount, or just double click it, and you'll see that it shows up as a drive. And then take the folder that has your drivers and stuff that you downloaded, and just copy it right here. Now again, I got a couple of games on mine, so it's going to look different than yours. Okay, and then once it's copied, don't forget to eject your disk. So right click, eject. All right, and then we'll just wait for it to finish that. Good. And then back in PCM, we can start the machine back up. And we can just boot from the hard disk. All right, and just because it's easier to look at, I'm going to enter mine into full screen. Enter full screen mode. There we go. And now once we go into my computer and the C drive, there's the PCM folder that we copied over. So we can go ahead and open that up. Kevin, you let me know when you're there.
I'm here.
Okay, I'm just going to do a little configuration that I like to do, which is to set details as the default. So we've got it on details. We click folder options. We click view. I want to see all files. Apply. And then I want to do like current folder for every other folder that I open. There. So now, when I go back into my computer and I go to the C drive and I go to PCM, we have details view. Okay, so I think the first thing we should do, let's get the chipset drivers installed. So that's the 3.20, and we'll go ahead and run the application. And just do the whole next, yes, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then we have to restart because it's Windows 98. Let's go to Control Panel. Are you booted back? Sorry, Kevin, I might be going too
Yep.
fast. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm booted back.
go to Settings, Control Panel, and System, and Device Manager. Expand your disk drives. Get your hard drive. Right-click, Properties, Settings tab, and enable DMA. And then hit OK. And then we are going to reboot again.
Like always.
let's do the Amy Gamerlin. Let's do the Amiga Merlin drivers. Amy Gamerlin. Yeah, it's the cold medicine, folks. So
Oh god.
let's go inside that and let's run the hold on, let me just change this. Do the setup file. I think this one also does the same thing, but whatever. I'll just run setup. Let's get our graphics card drivers installed for something that doesn't physically exist. It still blows my mind. All right, and okay, so let's go to properties, and we can close this and settings, and I think I'll do a. Is it going to actually fit on the screen? Let me try. It does. It's a little small, so I'm going to go back to 1024 by 768 just for the video. Wow, that didn't. That somehow got smaller. Let's just do 800 by 600. There we go. That's fine. It just helps see what's going on a little bit better. Go to the install folder again. And let's do the sound card driver. Okay, that's good. And then,
And of course, a restart.
yeah. The old Windows 98 reboot. We should have a Windows 98 startup sound now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go out of full screen. And as you heard, my Windows 98 startup sound had a couple of glitches in it. And that would be because the processor is falling below 100% while it was playing that that noise or the startup sound. Okay, so we can do DirectX 7 now. Let's get that done. So here, I'll go out of full screen. So we're still running at 100%. And let's hear when it plays the startup sound. Watch the processor. 99, 96,
Mine went down
95,
to 95.
85. Yeah. And that's, again, as we discussed earlier, I'm curious because your CPU is a newer gen. Yours is the, what was it, 5800?
5800X3D.
5800X3D, right. And mine's a 3800X. So yours is the newer gen. So it'll be interesting to see. Okay, let me go
Yeah, mine
back
didn't.
to.
Mine didn't quite dip as low as yours did.
Let's install the version 2 Windows installer because we'll need that for Daemon Tools. So the INST MSIA.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's gonna ask for a restart right away. All right.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Like, hey.
Okay, so we're going to install Daemon Tools. If you're not familiar with what Daemon Tools is, it's a virtual CD-ROM emulator. So you can mount an ISO image in it, and it'll show up as a drive in your computer. So we'll go ahead and get that installed. Install. Next, next, next kind of thing. Okay, so now that we have the Daemon Tools installed, you can right-click, go to Emulation, and turn all options on. And then let's mount this Need for Speed 2 ISO.
Oh, you should do like.
Yeah,
Don't you have Duke Nukem?
no, I do, but I just want to show this because it's not gonna. So, mount image, and we'll go to C, open. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just gonna actually, I'm just gonna quick demo of this, Kevin,
Okay.
and then we'll do because this is not a multiplayer game, so and we'll do a maximum install. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick demo of a glide game. So in the Need for Speed CD. Sorry, I did that wrong. I need to explore. You need to take the correct executable. Let me just go to View Details. You need to take the Need for Speed 2 SEA executable, copy it, and go to your installation directory, Need for Speed, and we'll paste it in there. Okay. And I'll just run this real quick. So there's our 3DFX logo running on a piece of hardware that doesn't actually exist. So there's a couple of not graphical, there's a couple of audio glitches in this game, but other than that, it plays just fine. Turn this down a bit. Okay, so I'll just jump into I won't do an entire race, but you'll see that it plays the. You've got your glide artifact things going, the rain and whatnot.
3, 2, 1, go!
But I mean, it's buttery smooth, and it's run and glide in a completely emulated machine. Nice. There we go. Okay, first place. I'll just quit. So anyway, that's pretty cool. So just just a quick little demo about how to use the Daemon Tools and to show you that a glide game actually functions and is, as far as I'm concerned, running just as good as when we were on physical hardware. Okay, so we're going to get set up to do some multiplayer. What do you want to do? Doom or Duke Nukem
Let's do Quake.
or Quake?
Duke
Okay.
Nukem's. I tried Duke Nukem. It's having issues, so let's do Quake.
Is it? Okay. All right. So, hold on one sec here. We will be right back once we get this set up.
2 hours later.